Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing in Adronis, and Adronis is going to be talking about 2019, the year of disclosure. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, and we say hello to all that are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We will speak in the upcoming year of your time to what you would know as 2019, the year of disclosure. Now, don't get too excited just yet. When we were talking about disclosure, we are talking about much of the disclosure that is taking place upon your world right now. Everything's going to be out into the open. You have entered a core year. You have entered a center point to where much of your own inner, shall we say, developments, your own inner workings that have been taking place behind the scenes are going to be completely unleashed, which means they are going to be exposed. You are going to find out more relating to the aspect of scandals that have happened with your CIA, your NSA, your FBI, etc. There are going to be more declassified aspects of documents that will be available publicly. There will also be other levels of exposure pertaining to the idea of what you would know as the 9/11 situation. There will also be, again, more particular forms of these alerts and bulletins coming through various forms of media, through your mainstream, through your own cellular phones, in that way. And there will be, shall we say, truth Pandora boxes opening up. And so again, this will relate to the idea of the complete and total exposure of an old regime that is now dying out. You are now going to see in 2019 the pillars to this old regime falling apart and crumbling to the ground. This will also represent much in regards to the exposures of your own Hollywood system, that you will discover that there will be certain celebrities, as you call them, who will therefore be called out, who will therefore be exposed. This will also relate to the idea of certain courts that will be taking place in regards to, shall we say, specific celebrities that will be called out, that will be exposed, that will again have higher numbers of, shall we say, disclosure from others, that will therefore put them within these particular courts. So that is starting to unravel a lot more. In 2019, again, you will see that the idea of your internal government systems are again being folded inside out. They're basically having all of these roots, as we say, being ripped out and exposed. So it is going to be a year where everybody is going to be raising their voice, they're going to be cupping their hands, and they're going to be saying, I have something to say. You could also understand that this could be the year of a whistleblower, that there will be more whistleblowers coming out, speaking in regards to top secret programs. There may also be a possibility of the idea of your own space programs being able to be brought forward in a broader scope, perhaps not through your mainstream, but much more greater through your alternative streams in that way. Well, Adronis, what's happening right now as it pertains to extraterrestrial disclosure? You mentioned that there were a lot of different ships that have come out through the sun and that they are now within our star system. Do they plan to reveal themselves greater within the year of 2019? They certainly will be active throughout this particular year, just as they're active right now. But again, they are working behind the scenes. It will still be something that many of you will dismiss, because in that sense, you really can't put your finger upon it. And again, there is still a lot of other forms of disclosure that will come out. The idea of your child trafficking, the idea of your pedophiles, especially within the Vatican, Again, the idea of the full Vatican disclosure is going to happen a lot more in 2019 and may also culminate around the times of 2020. So between 2019 and 2020, the Vatican is going to be completely exposed and again, completely, shall we say, refurbished from the inside out. They will do everything they can to still salvage the aspect of your own, shall we say, Catholic system. But the whole idea is that it is going to be exposed. It is going to continue to basically have much of this exposure from those who have been harmed by the church, who have been harmed by priests, who have been harmed by these individuals, who have again performed certain levels of sexual, shall we say, abuses, sexual hardships, sexual, shall we say, conduct that again is very much on the level of torturous experiences. That too will be revealed. You may also look more so into the idea of what you would know as the satanic rituals that have come forward as well too. We would feel that again much more of your own political powers are going to be going through tribunal. Now, this would relate to the idea of the situation that many of you have talked about pertaining to your own Supreme Courts. Again, many of this is just the aspect of melodrama. Many of you are still concerned about the idea about how your own internal infrastructure is taking place. It's really not that important, but because many of you still have some fascination with it, again, what is happening right now is a reshaping of that particular infrastructure. That people, yes, who may not be in the most pristine of characters, are still being applied because they have agreed to bring down the last remnants of the old regime, for them to be exposed, for them to basically, in that sense, completely collapse under their own weight. So there will be more political trials that are taking place. Some will be public, some will be hidden, some will be pure military tribunals. There will be, again, more forms of, shall we say, arrests taking place on a mass level. There will be a little bit more information as it pertains to Antarctica as well too. Again, it is still questionable, well, this way may go into the mainstream, but again, there will be more revealing of particular forms of technology that are taking place, that are stationed within Antarctica and are in use, that are active. So again, there is a handover taking place right now, which means that there are those who once operated within the old regime that are handing other particular people over that have been responsible for certain levels of operations, often to what you would know as false flag in that nature. So again, this moves also to the idea of your September 11th situation, where there will be further exposure coming. So again, this all needs to happen in a gradual process, but we feel that 2019 is indeed the year where this will become the focal point. There again may be other particular levels of celestial disclosure taking place relating to footage, relating to, again, much to what the people catch. And again, there may be other particular forms of sightings taking place upon your planet or even beyond your atmosphere, where you are seeing fleets of spacecraft. So these fleets, as we refer to as the Galactic Confederation of Planets, is again creating a new infrastructure within this local star system. There are going to be, again, a great deal of unrooting that will not only take place upon Earth, that will also take place upon Mars, that are again also taking place around the areas of Saturn. It's the idea that much of the Draco that were once a part of this old regime, who have been booted off Earth, are basically looking to be completely withdrawn from your star system altogether. They have again held a very strong claimancy upon the Saturnian planetary system and much of its moons. And so again, there is a particular operation taking place right now to remove many of these particular forms of Draco from your own star system. Once they are completely removed, things will start moving ahead at a much more quicker pace. The idea in that sense of many different forms of celestial disclosure will become available. But we feel that much more of your extraterrestrial disclosure will start to happen in your early next decade. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. Those will be more so of the years that represent this smaller span as it relates to extraterrestrial connections, as it relates to the idea of celestial disclosure. So again, there will be certain forms of revealings of other particular forms of technologies that have been left behind by ancient races upon your moon, upon the moon of Phobos. There will be more forms of information that will be shared about Mars. Again, slow revealing. There will be more information as it relates to your outer planets as well too. So again, all of this needs to happen appropriately. The idea of what your own government has referred to as the Space Force will be the, shall we say, bait that will start to reveal a lot more of these operations that have been taking place beyond space. Right now, you do not have a very, shall we say, reliable aspect of bait or anchor relating to this information. NASA is certainly not an appropriate state of anchor. Neither is your European Space Agency. It is the idea that a space force is created for this very reason, to cover up certain things that have been happening within your space programs, and it will eventually start to, shall we say, expose the idea of other civilizations that have been visiting your star system for many thousands and thousands of years. So that will start to play a part more so as you move past 2020. 2019 is the beginning of a personal disclosure. It is the beginning of an earthly-based disclosure. And again, there may be certain forms of celestial situations taking place that may also be revealed in time, possibly this year, this coming year of 2019. So, as you're moving forward in 2019 right now, it is going to be the idea where your voices are going to be your most valuable asset. Many of you are going to be sharing yourselves. You're going to be exposing the idea in that sense of what you would consider to be situations that have happened in the past that you have kept quiet about. And now you're starting to reveal it a lot more. This is all part and parcel of, again, a greater sweeping, a greater unraveling of what has been taking place upon this planet. There are again other particular forms of, shall we say, exposures that will allow grassroots systems to come together. These grassroots systems again represent new levels of transportation, new levels of energy, new levels of education, new levels of technology that again may assist in the development of new alternative energy systems, not just through your solar and your wind, but again other levels such as geothermal, and again other particular forms of magnetic technologies that again also produce power. But again, you will find this much more in the alternative stream. The mainstream media is also looking to be exposed as well. That too will represent the idea of cover stories. That too will represent the idea of certain degrees of reporting, you can say, that have been kept in the dark as it relates to actual important situations and stories that have not been fully revealed to the public. You can basically find this through one particular network, which is representing that of your CNN. They too will be, shall we say, ahead of this particular scandal that is going to be exposed internally through their network, simply because many of the people involved within your CNN internally have been part of what you would know as, shall we say, sadistic practices. They too are looking to be exposed. So that is one particular network that is going to be, shall we say, in the crosshairs as it relates to this time of disclosure right now. But again, beyond all of this, this is all just story talk. This is all just drama. None of you have to follow this if you don't choose to. It's not important. Let the aspect of these internal systems based upon what they have created and what they have put out completely dismantle themselves by others that have represented, shall we say, withdrawing of these systems in the past and are waiting for the right moment to expose the idea of these, shall we say, tragic situations, tragic forms of media, of information that have been held in the dark, that have been contained in vaults. And so they will blow the whistle. So again, you're looking at the idea of beginning times of the dismantling of much of your mainstream media as well too, beginning quite commonly with your CNN. So again, that too will start to unravel in its own way. Well, Adronis, again, we really want to have extraterrestrial disclosure. We really want to have this brought out into the open. We understand. But again, everything else needs to happen together in a state of layers. You have to look into many different things that have been happening locally upon your planet first. You need to work together with yourselves and being able to share, again, cupping your hands across the face and start shouting and saying, this is what's been taking place with me. This is my own personal disclosure. I'm going to share it. So again, this is what you would know as Brad has stated, putting the bullhorns to the mouth, putting the megaphones on, and starting to share a lot of information. This too, again, will relate to the idea of other people coming together and basically what you would know as collective groups that will be all about promoting disclosure, promoting exposure, just on your common city streets, that are demanding that there is information looking to be revealed. And when this happens, this is the pristine time for that to take place. It's the pristine time for people to come together to therefore receive answers. Now again, everything that's going to be happening in the 2019 year is going to create a great deal of inner turmoil through many of you. What we mean by that is that a lot of what's going to be exposed is going to shock you. It's going to be very, very upsetting, and it's going to make many of you angry. All of this, again, is a natural process in the time through the span of change. You need to get this out. You need to being able to bring all of this out through yourselves and allow it to be voiced. That's what disclosure means. It's the idea of bringing openness to situations that have been held back. So again, this is going to happen on every particular platform of what is taking place on this plane on Earth. Your sociological aspects, your political aspects, your financial aspects, your educational aspects, your personal aspects. All of this is going to be brought out into the open, like someone is just opening up a curtain and bringing all of this into a certain level of disclosure. It is being exposed. There again will be much relating to the idea of world leaders and a particular alliance that has been formed for quite some time that will be working together to basically shut down old systems that again have involved trafficking, have involved in that sense economical pollution, that have also represented environmental pollution. This is going to be again further exposed. People who have been hurting the earth, corporations who have been hurting the earth, all of it's going to be exposed. And all of those particular forms of corporations that have been responsible for this will be shut down. Again, through the aspect of the people coming together, through the idea of everybody working together. And this will be the beginning time in 2019 that will work towards those particular forms of corporate shutdowns. Again, this is beginning very commonly with what you would know as your Monsanto in that way. There will be continual forms of corporations that have been responsible, such as what you would know as your fossil fuel industries as well too, that are going to be out in the spotlight. And they too are also going to have certain levels of exposure that will be divulged, therefore beginning the process of shutting down the fossil fuel industries as we continue to move through this span of change. Everything is going to be affected. So, as we've stated, yes, there's some celestial information coming together that will be revealed more so within your alternative channels. The idea, again, of many of the space fleets of the Galactic Confederation of Planets is, again, starting to work together with new infrastructures. They are working with your planet right now. There are, again, certain forms of activities that are going to be taking place within your own sun. Again, more different forms of solar winds, more different forms of solar activities that, again, are going to trigger larger, shall we say, aurora activity, the heart of your planet expanding. It is the idea that what's taking place upon your planet is an internal heating. just as what's happening upon many other planets within your own star system. All of your planets are going through an internal global heating situation. This is all part in that sense of getting everything out in the open. It's the idea of Earth's light body starting to activate, starting to spin. And as that happens, this is what's going to bring about these intense situations. Earth's consciousness is rising. Her body is lifting up. As it lifts up, everything that is contained emotionally through all life upon her body needs to be brought out into the open. She's going through the shadow concept. She's going through the dark night of the soul. And again, this is going to intensify. Each of you will be going through your own dark nights of the soul as well too. Each of you will start to notice that you are exposing, revealing all of this information that is helping you to go into a healing process. First is the idea of the exposure, of sharing this information, of letting this out, whether it be individually or whether it be through group consciousness or anything of your nature. Let it out. Start sharing. Start revealing. Let everything out. Again, whether you're doing it in front of a person or just on your own. Let it happen. It's the time for this exposure to take place. This, in a nutshell, represents the idea of 2019, the year of disclosure. We thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction, and we will now conclude. Goodbye for now.